Welcome back, everyone, to Four Nations Ultimate here, presented to you by Ulti TV in beautiful Glasgow, Scotland. You're currently watching England versus Wales. England already had a turnover. Wales with their first break opportunity. We just watched Ireland take down Scotland in what was a really exciting matchup to start off the tournament. I am Gigi Morrison, and I'm joined in the booth by Johnny Tafalis. Johnny, how are you feeling for this game so far?
I'm really excited. I think this game is going to be, I guess, definitely a different style, a different energy than the Ireland and Scottish game brought, and yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Hulkyard on the end zone line. Lewis had Haynes open in the lane, but didn't like the option. Takes it on to Sloan, to Gibson. Beautiful shot to Hulkyard. Oh, almost a hand block from Williams. There has been a foul call.
Dare I say, a bit of a veteran move there. Maybe arguably a bit of a pivot through and kind of drawing the foul a little bit. If he's going to get the successful pass or call a foul. So I think it's a good move. But
An accepted foul call. Floaty shot across to Sloan. And a confident flick has Hulkyard in the deep space, but multiple Welsh defenders. Williams takes it down himself.
Not coming. Stay left.
Mud.
Stay left. Round now.
Dishes back across to Williams. There's a couple meters behind. Williams trying to call for an under option. Takes on the deep instead. Has Sully in the deep space, but trips on his own feet.
I was actually expecting a little bit of Sully magic there. I think he almost caught it when he was on the floor.
Almost an incredible toe-in catch from Gibson, but Mud with the immense pressure underneath. These two have played against each other for a fair number of years now. Mud playing for Bristol Women. Heather Gibson playing for Spice Ultimate. Lung. Open side option down the line to Sully. Wales just 1 meter or two from their first break. Williams has to rise, takes the inside flick to Haynes. What a start for Wales.
Yeah, you can see there Rodri Williams being a good commander at the back. Kind of, it's going to be it's going to be a good game for him. I see him kind of commanding the troops and yeah, getting off to a great start by Wales there.
He's certainly going to be one of the Welsh names we'll be mentioning time and time again. Currently playing for Chevron Action Flash. Has played with a fair number and against a fair number of the players on this England side as well. But England, a shaky start to the first point. We saw some beautiful, magical moments, but I think if they can really focus on those fundamental options, then it should pay dividends. But Wales just wanting to get ahead nice and quickly. These games aren't long at all.
Which is actually a bit of a pain as you get out there and you adjust yourself to the wind. And as we mentioned in the last game, it's a very weird wind today. As you can see, the disc blowing around. It might take some time to adjust to.
A bricked pole that looked quite bladey coming in, but immediately flew out the side of the pitch. We seem to have lost Hannah Quinn. There she is. Hannah Quinn, one of the captains for Smog in the women's division, but has also very recently played for GB Under 24 Women's, as well as the senior women's in Australia. Certainly going to be a stalwart handler. Dishes it back to another stalwart handler, Carla Link, who wasn't actually intending on playing this weekend after getting injured quite early on into regionals. First few pass turnover, Lees picks up for Wales. Beautiful around the back option to Davies. Just off the chest for Ritu. That one difficult to read. Hall picks up quickly. Across to Mickael. Mickael looking for length, but slightly too far.
Yeah, I think both teams haven't fully warmed up into this game. I think we're going to expect a few maybe sloppy points at the start, as maybe a few overthrows, maybe not adjusting to the wind properly.
We certainly saw some of that in the Scotland-Ireland game. There was one point which had at least 10 turnovers. It was very much back and forth. Haitley picks it off. This is back to Thompson. There has been a call.
Definitely look close. A few gestures of I don't know, which is always great to see.
Thompson and Jenkins having that discussion between themselves. Both of them wanting to gain the upper hand for their own sides. Quinn looking for Link. Link having to read. It floats over the top, but instead Hall is there. Didn't need to jump at all, didn't need to use his height.
Great backup there. I think, as you mentioned, in this wind, it kind of could go up and anywhere, so if you can get under it, the more bodies, the better.
It was very smart positioning, obviously intended for Link in the deep space, and if the wind wasn't such a strong factor in this game, that would have gotten into the chest for Link. But Ben Hall trying to provide that backup. So we see that again. It floats over the top. Link thinking, oh no, it's gone. I'm going to have to bid. I'm going to have to do something magical here. But the magic was standing right behind her.
I think he wouldn't mind that nickname.
The magic. I think he would. Roller pull from Andy Lewis. Really pinning Wales onto that far sideline. Well, close sideline if you're looking from the camera's perspective.
Yeah, looking at how the wind is blowing, it's definitely going to pin them up against the wind, making it a tricky start to the point. A great way to slow down the offense, to force them to take a first option in field.
Turner trying to call for the under option, looking for the dump behind, but the English defense smothering every option. But Rhodri Williams, confident collection, has Selly in the backfield and takes it. Quick give-go movement. Lung. Ooh, wanting that from Mud. But the wind had other decisions to make. Naden, one of the captains for this English side, dishes it to the other captain, Lewis. Back to Naden.
England very happy to take their time on this one. I think the last 4 or 5 throws have just been swings.
Halkyard. Down the line to Allen. Dish across to Gibson. The Wales are really pinning England on this closer sideline, making it difficult to swing across, but England taking whatever opportunities and options that they can, giving them their second score of the game. Is that their first break? It is indeed.
Yeah, I think from a tactical perspective, Wales have obviously said we're going to put them on this near sideline to where the camera is. Make sure that they get really pressed up against that, and I think they were happy to take that as an option, worked it down the sideline, maybe a few swings here and there, but just they're happy to keep it there, and if it works, then it works, and maybe Wales have to try something a little bit different. Seems like a quite strong England squad.
The score now sitting comfortably at 2-1, so a bit closer than we saw in the first game. But England currently with the upper hand. 10 minutes into the game time already. Pull from Thompson, also opting for the roller pull. What do you think of that as a pull option there?
Well, I was going to make fun of it, but it seems like it's worked an absolute treat. They're pinned right at the back.
Lee's trying to look for Ratu, the beautiful inside shot, but again that wind just making everything so difficult to score for Plant Haitley. Woo, what a way to come back.
Well, if ever there was a true statement of pulls win game, I think that was a great example there. Just it adds such a great level of pressure when you're in the back of your end zone, you're scared about the Callahan, and then, okay, it was a bit of an unlucky drop, but that drop comes from pressure, and then Mickael just been able to pick it up and pull out one of his signature scubas.
That shot from Lees was honestly perfect. The cut from Ratu as well. it's a match made in heaven. Both of them perfect on each side. Just the wind caused it to go boop a little bit down, slightly lower than intended. So England now up 3-1. 2-point separation can be quite punishing for this tournament format. But we've seen a pretty big comeback already. Wales certainly have it in their toolkit to keep themselves fighting. Williams takes the poached.
Fires it across.
An absolute laser. Turner. Across the mud, and there's that wind again.
Bit of an unlucky drop there, I think.
Valk trying to swing down to Gibson. The grass gets a taste of it instead. Mud with a quick flick over the top. I love that option to Haynes. Williams has Long wide open on the close sideline. Dishes back to Williams. Fantastic force from Hulkyard. Stops that around backhand shot. Did allow it on the higher stall count instead. Sully looking deep. That blades around, but Sloan says no instead.
Maybe he's got the wrong edge of the disc there. Kind of floated straight up and down. Not his finest shot there. I don't think he'll be very happy with that one. You see the physicality really ramping up between Hulkyard and
there's that Huck option, the Reading Ultimate connection between Andy Lewis and Rachel Naden. They've played together for quite a few years now. Just a bit too much. That's that downwind side. Was one of the initial options where it's difficult to read. We're going to be talking about the wind a lot today, unfortunately. It is just that extra element that is, in this circumstance, it's the 13th player on the pitch. Just the extra defender that is completely unbiased.
Definitely.
Just off the back thumb for Williams. Haynes picks up quickly into the chest, beautifully sat to Lewis.
So you mentioned that the wind obviously being the 13th player, and I think that's a great example there. You're adjusting to the wind, you're trying to figure out where it's going to go, so you maybe throw a little bit of a lower shot, expecting it to pick up, but the wind's completely changed, and although it's a bit of a tough drop there, it kind of comes from the fact that the wind is chopping and changing, and well, there's nothing much you can really do about it, and went out 4-1.
Yeah, unfortunately, these conditions, I say unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, it depends on how you look at it. They're the most leveling way to play this sport. So it kind of puts almost everyone on about the same level.
Yeah.
So across all four teams, you're seeing some of the best players, not just in European Ultimate, but to a certain extent from across the world. We've got some extremely high-level players here. And it's almost, you get to see that they're human.
Yeah.
When we see that they do make the same mistakes that we as much more regular Ultimate players also make.
Definitely.
Tidswell. Beautiful backhand.
Fantastic shot there. Really opens up the play.
Lees does find Vertu this time. Vertu, one of the leaders for this Welsh side. Jenkins calling for the open option, has Lees. Tidswell. Hall went to turf. Some sort of bid attempt, but not a problem for Wales. Wales going for the around. Oh my god, Tidswell, that was incredible. To Lees. Has an open option in Davies, but Davies having to go to turf. Not quite the reception. That was much better offense from Wales.
Yeah, definitely a lot more patient. I think they set up a good structure in the end zone. I could kind of almost imagine them swinging all day, but I guess they have to shoot at some point, and unfortunately it didn't work out for them.
My apologies, that was Stalin for Wales. Had fingertips on the disc. Again, a great shot from Tidswell. I love that option. Thompson stuck on this end zone corner, but Quinn provides a perfect cut option here. Up the line to Thompson. Or wanting it for Thompson. The upwind flick down the line is not an easy throw to make whatsoever. An under poach in the lane does free up for 2 in the back space. Trying to slash across the pitch, use the entire width of it. I like that option. Klinge. Has Chris Allen wide open on this side here. Does find him and take it on. Quinn with the lead shot to Thompson, but defended by Ritu. Second reception for Thompson. My word, that was great. Trying to look into the hands of Hall. Hall almost in disbelief himself.
Yeah, this point is turning into a bit of a battle out there. Just trying to wrestle with the wind, wrestle with each other, and I think many of the players here will be excited to get this one over with.
Well, Chris Allen got an arm in the way, but Jenkins seems to have called something. Either a foul or a strip. Seems to be accepted. So seems to be. They've used their hand signals. We can see that it's been accepted. This back into play. Finds Lees. Lees trying to find the deep option himself. Has Ritu on the under and does receive. What a read. Tidwell is in the deep space. Most players are still behind the disc, however. Jenkins tries to find the relief shot into Tidwell. It sits just on the end zone line. Oh, having to concentrate on so many factors at once.
That was an absolutely visionary throw. Honestly, when he threw that, I had no idea where he was going for. It just sat up in the wind, just out of the reach of Tidwell.
I loved that throw as well. I think it was a pretty perfect shot. Had at least 2 receivers that could have possibly gone for it. But it caught, the disc caught, well, the wind caught on the underside of the disc, causing it to just float further than Tidwell was able to react to. And we've seen that happen for the England side as well. Allen having to concentrate on both catching and staying within the pitch. And Wales with a quick pickup. Front end zone corner this time. Wales stem the bleeding.
Good little around there. Nice shot. And that begs the question, is this going to be the momentum shifting moves that Wales are looking for? I mean, I guess going down two breaks at the start, it's not a great feeling. Now maybe they might feel that we're in touching distance. So
that was the second reception from Thompson. An almost phenomenal grab from Allen. Ended up being a strip. Well accepted. Good spirit. Wales having the composure to be able to bring themselves back in for that score is fantastic work.
That was a close one.
Here we go, let's go! Yeah, Sonny!
England with a hold opportunity. Lewis getting point blocked.
That's something you see every day.
Wales again with a quick pickup. Turner looked at the around, saw it, took it to Williams. Fakes the deep. Takes on the open under to Mudd. Turner around the back. Striking for Williams. Multiple defenders wanting to catch your D on this occasion. Williams is not going to give up on that easily.
I love the fact that that just sat just perfectly for him to have a great view of it and just have a picture perfect layout there. We mentioned that Rodri will be a big impact on this game, and well, that's another break on Wales. So yeah, we could see this game going anywhere.
Yeah, you called it in the last game, the momentum swing for Scotland. On this occasion, the momentum swing is in Wales's favour. That shot initially, Nad's closing her eyes, trying to block it away. She can see it happening. Frustration in her face. You can see the expression. We got to see it in slow motion. I can imagine that at the time she also was watching it in slow motion.
It's actually very impressive to get that much amount of spin on it, to be honest. I don't think I could do that if I tried.
Have you not played Mickael?
Terrible at it.
Clearly you need to practice.
It's a great pull.
Nice and floaty. Onto that front end zone line. Klinge gives it to Link, and Link to Mickael. Mickael, low shot. Difficult catch for Allen to make. Wales have only got about half the pitch to make up here. Lees doesn't like the option from Jackson. Looking for Davies again.
Wow.
It's apologies, Stalin. I keep getting confused between the two. My sincerest apologies to Cat Stalin. I'll give you full credit for a fantastic cut.
Yeah, I think Mickael might be a little bit disappointed with that throw, and I think maybe he's not having the impact in the game that we all thought he would, and then Wales just happy to pick the disc up and work it in very neatly. I think that's, as I mentioned that with me, that it just may be a momentum shifting moment, and we're back onto 4-4.
You have spoken to people on multiple sides of each of the teams, trying to figure out where, like predicting where this tournament is going to go, who's going to go up on any one team. On paper, you could argue that England have got one of the strongest rosters, but it's so difficult to be able to bring a strong roster of players together and it to just be cohesive.
Yeah, 100%. I think when I've been chatting to people, I've been getting a lot of different perspectives. Obviously, you've got England with Conor Mickael. You've got a lineup of Chevy players on Wales. You've got the chemistry that comes from Scotland and all the Ranelagh players on Ireland. I think that's kind of the perspective that I've been hearing, and we can kind of see it go either way.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part of this tournament. We can't predict what's going to happen at all. Now level at 4-4. England trying to claw their way back after a momentum shift from Wales. Wales aren't going down easily.
I think Wales have definitely ramped up the pressure in the last 10-15 minutes or so. I think they want this game a little bit more than England do. Wow. And just like that.
Couldn't have put it more perfectly at this point, to be honest. What are we seeing on Sully's tummy there?
I think it's a collection of stickers.
I did see them this morning with a fair few temporary tattoos and trying to discuss where to place them.
See some Welsh flags. Maybe a few dragons on there too, but very Sully of them to do.
We're seeing the correct options being chosen from the English side. It's, again, yeah, certainly not the wrong options. It's the fundamentals, the execution is not lining up. Whereas Wales, again, I don't know whether is that that wanting it more, or they're fighting for it and being like, right, these are people that we've played with before, we've played against them. Not exactly like a vendetta, but just thinking like, we've got so much to answer for here. Let's just give it our all. It seems to be working out for them.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the kind of tournament where you're not going to look at each roster and say this team is significantly better than the others. This is a tournament that's going to come off of, well, vibes and energy and passion. And I think, well, right now I think Wales are showing a little bit more passion than England. I think England are maybe taking the foot off the gas a little bit here.
Seems to be a discussion of a foul. Nope, it's been an accepted turnover. We did see some slick movement from the English side. Chris Allen calling for somebody to talk to him on the sideline. Trying to mark up against a competent thrower like Lee's is certainly very difficult, so having a voice in your ear helps. Quinn on the defense, but looking to recruit teammates for Smog here.
I'm very glad that we get the replay back. I don't think I could call that if I tried. That was very, very close. We do have a few perspectives of other people
across the sidelines. So we get another look here.
Give it to the underdogs.
Ooh, that one is tricky. It looks like Quinn's left hand and Izzy's hand also was able to get around the disc about the same time. So in that circumstance, yeah, offense holds on. Woo.
Wow.
2-point separation here. Now 6-4 for Wales. England have their heads down ever so slightly. They've got a little bit of a way to claw themselves back. Just under 15 minutes left of game time.
To me, it just seems like Wales want it a lot more. Their heads and their shoulders, they're up, they're ready to play. And I think England maybe in need of a little timeout, which I think was what they just called.
Again, that was the right option from Mickael and a great cut from Link. Not an easy reception. Simultaneous from my perspective. So good call from Ritu and Quinn.
So many smiles on the Wales faces there.
Less so from the English side.
I'm expecting some stern words from Andy Lewis there.
As stern as Andy Lewis can be.
Of course. Relative, of course.
Yeah, so far it's been a wonderful day. Beautiful setup. We've seen all the athletes obviously getting very excited. The stands themselves across the other side from the cameras starting to fill up. We're even getting people standing by the barriers. Getting a good view. Got smells of the barbecue going on in front of us.
Dare I say you having a good time?
Oh, I've always been having a good time. And you can watch all of the coverage today completely for free, brought to you by Ulti TV. You can watch back the games, but please do become a member, subscribe to Ulti TV for future tournaments, because we'd love the support, always love the support. We want to be able to help support events like this in the future as well. And that pole floats outside.
Although we are keeping stats from this game, I daren't ask the question of how many brick pulls we've had. These conditions are tough. They're either absolutely perfect or off the pitch.
I feel like there's been at least 4 across the 2 games, which isn't too bad, to be fair. It's certainly nowhere near as bad as I've seen before. Gibson bringing it in for England. High inside shot to Lewis. Dishes back to Sloan. Every single undercut is shut down by Wales, but Gibson wide open takes the floaty flick shot for Naden. Naden already knew that that wasn't going to be an easy catch.
It was a great option, but yeah, just get caught and then win that. Oh.
Sloan making sure that that was in her own hands, or at least on the ground before giving up on it. Naden looking for Haynes. Timeout has worked in England's favour here. They're not quite out of it yet.
Yeah, we're definitely starting to get a little bit more of a back and forth as the momentum maybe shifts towards England here. This game might just go to the wire.
We always want games to go to the wire here. And sometimes it's fun to see one team get completely decimated. I would not call this a decimation at all, by the way. But a universe point game? Chef's kiss. Love it.
Absolutely. Well, especially in a tournament like this where you've got four nations trying to battle themselves out, well, might as well make it close.
Thompson deliberating the options so far.
Some wise words there by Mr. Mickael. Orchestrating the defense, maybe. Another rolly pull.
Worked out for them last time. It's given them more time. Jenkins having to stop the roll for Lees. Ritu, that first cut option, time and time again. Flying bid from Plant Haitley. Oh, she looks seemingly okay. Thought she might have been in pain initially. Davies might have been making a call. It seems to have been called as a turnover. She was possibly a little bit spooked by Plant Haitley coming flying through.
Yeah, it was a great poach block there. I think maybe Davis was maybe tripping up on his body on the floor there, but looked relatively clean to me.
Link down the line to Klima. We're looking for Klima. Big ask, unfortunately. Lees with the stall count rising, trying to find Ratu again. Multiple Welsh players getting underneath, but well defended by Thompson. Thompson to Mickael. Inside shot to Plant Haitley. That wind, time and time again. Jenkins tries to find Ratu for herself. That's the same flick shot that we've seen over and over again. That's just soaring over that far end zone corner.
Yeah, you might be able to see the Scottish flag in the background as it floats towards the camera. So I think just giving the disc that little lip on the end.
Multiple players trying to make sure that that was a definitive turn. Oh, it floated just past Plant Haitley. I didn't actually quite realize that. I thought it was, again, the wind causing havoc and like make it difficult to catch, but not necessarily in this circumstance. Link going up the line for Thompson, but Tidswell picks it off instead. Defensive pressure from England. Jenkins having to go flying himself. Mickael, immediate pickup, looking deep for Plant Haitley. Sits almost just enough, does so. Plant Haitley happy to go to ground. Hall having to repeat that for himself. Ooh, that was a break, it seems, yes? Yes, we're on it. 6-6.
Maybe not the cleanest of offense we would have liked to see, but sometimes the job needs to get done in one way or another. And that does bring you to 6-6.
You were certainly not going to be seeing absolutely beautifully clean offense in these conditions. That would be too much of an ask. But the last two catches that we saw from the English offense on that side, heroic to a certain extent. They were able to read it to the point where it started to sink a lot faster than they had anticipated. The disc from Mickael initially was floating beautifully for Plant Haitley to just almost keep jogging into the end zone, but then sinking, having to roll into turf. And then that secondary option to Hall in the end zone, also having to repeat that. Some great stuff. But Wales now off to the races. Really chipping away Gibson on the under, trying to get a block. Sully. Back to Williams. Williams wanting that, what I've heard being called an OYO shot, like an IOOI.
I don't think we need to shorten OI any further.
No.
That's a very tough shot. I mean, if it works, it works, but especially in this wind, if you just don't get enough edge on it, then it can sink like a ton of bricks.
Haynes trying to find Halkyard. I do really appreciate that both sides are looking to pick up the disc quickly and just get things moving.
Definitely.
Mudd with a great find to Williams.
I think they're thinking there is a stoppage because someone's on the floor, but I don't think there was actually anything called there. Nice that people are looking out for each other.
There was certainly a cluster of people in strange places. The only thing I can kind of say. Haynes trying to look for Mudd.
That was the same space of the turnover as the last one, proving that that bit of the field is a tough place to be.
Sloan saunters the disc up to the end zone line. Has Haynes as an isolated player in the front of stack. Does find him. Immediately takes that deep option on. Has Allen in the space, tipped by Williams. Slightly too casual on the reception.
Yeah, definitely. I was expecting him to go up for it, but I think he was just expecting it to coast, but it just never did. And then, well, able to be picked up by Weld again. This could be a very important point for the game.
You are coming into the last 5 minutes, I believe, of gameplay. So England bringing it back from Wales's buffer has been extremely important. That disc is soaring. Nad's making sure that she is not letting that go into the hands of a Welsh offender. Alan this time reading, manages to get it into the back end zone corner. That is elation for the English team.
Yeah, Williams just tripping up there on the final step there. Maybe could have put in a good defensive pressure, but a little bit unlucky there. So yeah, that takes England to 7-6, and well, I hope for the sake of this game, maybe Wales might be able to squeeze one more in.
Yeah, that was certainly a pretty crucial point. And I can imagine after points like that and some of the other points we've seen where there's been a fair few turnovers as a result of, firstly, that was a phenomenal little tip of the disc, but what feels to be like really fundamental errors where it's a slight misread of the disc, or if you twist your wrist in this ever so slightly the wrong way, then it causes the disc to soar completely errantly. The mental game must be exhausting, even outside of the physical game itself. Yeah,
you're always testing the wind, and then it changes, and then you're testing it again, and it's a constant mental battle of the two teams.
Lees across to Jackson. Jackson with a slightly air bouncy backhand to Stalin. Back to Lees. Dish over the top. Jackson completely isolated. I love this inside shot, but I'm not sure Stalin was quite expecting it.
Maybe it required a little bit more touch on that one. Absolutely fizzed.
Fizzed?
You know how it fizzed?
No, I love it though.
Can have that one for free.
Thank you. Just need to copyright it. Here we get another look at that throw. Again, I love the option. It was perfect. Not really sure whether Stalin was anticipating that to come off. Hall to Mickael.
You see England just holstering a lot of their longer ones.
Quinn, this disc is floating over the top. Jackson in the way for Conor Mickael. Phenomenal box. It looked like Wales were doing some sort of forced middle, so I'm not surprised that that kind of option was shut down immediately. Klinge, beautiful read. Ritu also calling for somebody to talk to her on the sideline. Thompson to Plant Haitley. Beautiful inside backhand to Hall. Floats a shot to Thompson. He gets it across to Klinge. Low to Mickael. Some players calling it down.
I'm expecting a few Wales people to mention the blade of grass rule. If it touches any part of the ground, including a long blade of grass, it is considered down. It seems tight to me.
Seems to have been retracted, staying in the hands of Mickael. Dish back to Thompson, low release. Sat down in that flick position, but too much for Hall.
It's maybe the most important 1 minute of Wales's tournament here.
Contested catch. Thompson number 2 is a phenomenal matchup. I'm a massive fan of it. Tidswell has a floaty backhand around. Stalin. For 2. Back to Tidswell. Stalin calling it for on this far sideline, but Lees is wide open. Ooh, we are level and only 30 seconds left on the clock.
You can see a lot of the England players rushing to get on the line. Not sure they will have enough time to put one in, but
they have 45 seconds in between points legally in this tournament. So theoretically, if Wales are like, let's just make it a draw, they can do that if they wanted to. But England already signalling readiness.
Wales are ready for the Callahan, it seems.
And they're getting started pretty much immediately. How many players are going to be in that deep space? There we go. Everyone's underneath. Haynes almost tipped it off on the reception there. Everyone holding their breath, but that is it.
That was a big, heavy gasp from me. I was thinking this could go absolutely crazy. Very, very unlucky there from England, but you got to give it to Wales. They dug deep and they came from behind to give them a good game.
Yeah, I'd say in terms of their energy and their flow and their drive, Wales were in the driver's seat the whole time throughout that game. England did manage to have some composure to bring it back. They were down at a fair chunk throughout that game, but what a matchup. This tournament format is really not forgiving for getting teams down, and it has brought us to a draw. 7-7 England v Wales. Our next matchup will be, hang on, if you want to talk about some of the stats of this game, I'll get up what the next matchup is.
I've actually just noted that stat of no clean holds, which probably does tell a pretty strong story of the game there. Yeah, England going up relatively early, but Wales digging nice and deep there and pushing really hard. I think, I think they did very well. I've got to say so myself.
Yeah, and unfortunately for England, they are back on pretty much immediately. They're going to be playing against Scotland. Scotland, who already have a loss under their belt, unfortunately. So both these sides wanting to earn their first win of the tournament. Who is going to come out on top? Thank you very much for tuning in this match. England versus Wales, a draw at 7-7. I've been Gigi Morrison. For Johnny Tafalis, we will see you soon.